Good morning. It is 7:45 a.m. on Friday, February 26th, 2021. I am Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Technically speaking, I didn't just get up. I've been up for a little while, in fact. And in fact, even before recording this, I got up early to watch the latest episode of WandaVision. And I won't spoil anything here, of course, because after all, the whole reason for my getting up early and doing it before even getting on the computer is that spoilers are pretty rife out there. People just, it's a show that people want to talk about, which is good. And I don't mind people having those conversations. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I want to just remind everyone, just be considerate, you know. Not everybody wants to hear or to accidentally stumble across all your theory crafting when they haven't had a chance to watch the show yet. But it is interesting, I think, just that this show, I like it for sure, but it has definitely become more of a cultural phenomenon than I would have guessed. Even given the success of the MCU, maybe part of it is just that what with the pandemic, shifting schedules and everything, people are just hungry for more Marvel. That might be it, honestly. Because if not for the pandemic, we would have had at least the Black Widow movie already. Although, I have to say, I'm going to watch it and I imagine I'll enjoy it, but I am generally speaking extremely wary of movies where let's make a prequel for a character that we know is actually dead already. And for the same reason, even though I liked the character of Cassian Andor from Rogue One, they're making a TV show about him, and I'm like, but you're going backwards. It's not my favorite, but it's fine. But in any event, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, big popular franchise, and so people have been deprived of our, at least twice a year hit. But fortunately, WandaVision's good, and it's been exciting to watch. I am definitely, as I watch, and again, no spoilers for the most recent episode or anything, and I'm only talking about just general feelings anyway. It's made some storytelling decisions that seem a little strange to me, like they've gone out of their way to make something extra complicated in a way that really just muddies the theme and makes it seem like it's harder to do certain other things. And again, I guess I can't really get into that without without spoilers. But by and large, I think it's telling an interesting story and it's including some interesting details. I'm excited to just see how they wrap things up. But just in general, it makes me think about nostalgia. Because nostalgia is a feeling that I think most everybody probably has from time to time, and certainly a lot of pop culture entertainment works really hard to mine that. And it makes sense because a lot of art in general is designed to kind of reflect on and sometimes interrogate our own past experiences. And, sometimes what that means is uncovering, something dark about a time that, you experienced with, people trying to unpack, traumas that they may have encountered. But sometimes what it also is a desire to escape the problems of today, right? That's where I think the instinct for nostalgia comes from, is that, you have your current problems, and so you're trying to remember back to a time when you didn't have those problems. Now, probably The realistic scenario is that maybe you didn't have those specific problems, but you had other problems. But the nostalgia impulse is coming from a fantasy point of view where you're trying to imagine a time with no problems, right? And so when nostalgia comes into play, you envision a version of the past that's idealized in a way that the actual past, of course, was not. And that's not inherently bad, but where it can become dangerous is when people try to, or I guess, forget that that's what's happening and start to think that that's how the past actually was. And it's also true that like for some people it's a matter of like maybe the past was actually better for them because they were not aware of the problems that other people were facing. And so they desire to go back to a past that was easier for them, and they conveniently ignore or don't care that it was much worse for other people. I don't know. I guess I'm not making any kind of a larger point except just the idea that obviously, nostalgia is coming into play with the whole sitcom aesthetic for WandaVision. And again, I'm not going to get into spoiler details, but it's just kind of obvious on the face of the premise that, what are sitcoms but a kind of idealized version of our world, right? It's a world where problems get wrapped up and resolved and everything's okay. Usually. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.